Did you sign up in Little London, or did you have to go to Kingston? Did you go with your friends or on your own?
I joined up when it was announced in the papers that they wanted to people, young men, to join the RAF. I immediately, when they come down to Westmoreland, I immediately got my name down, you see. And of course I didn't hear anything from them for 7 or 8 months. Then suddenly a telegram came that I should report to take an exam, because we had to take an exam, you see. Not just put your name down. So I attended and take the exam. And then I didn't hear anything from them. Then suddenly a telegram came to say that I was to report I was to report in Savile-on-the-Mar, which is the capital town of Westmoreland, and I would be, and that's what happened. They take me to Montpellier and taking a train. First time I went in a train, I was 16. I was 1944. I was 19 and a half then, and I took the train to. No, I was much more. I was older than that, because I came over here. No, that's right. Because I came to England in just before the day D-Day in June in 1944. That's right.
And what did your grandparents think about this? What did they say?
Oh no, man, of course they did. My father said if I wanted to go to the war, his advice to me was to go in the artillery. He said you're at a big different. You're away from the front, and you have a big gun, and you fight. He wouldn't advise me to go in an aircraft, just because I said I want to. He said no, I want to. If you have to go to England, you want to go join the war. You want to get in the artillery, where you have a big gun, long distance away from where they fight.
I'm always curious, because when I see people arriving in England, in Britain, you know, that they've got a suitcase, you know, they got their one suitcase, and I'm just curious, did you have a suitcase? What did you pack to bring with you to England? Did you have a suitcase? Can you remember?
No,
a bag?
No, I had a bag.
Just a bag?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's amazing, really. Okay. So
everything's stuffed in a bag.
Yeah. Okay. And where did you sail from?
We sailed from Kingston, but there was a naval base just across from Palisadoes.
Okay.
They were all there.
And when I was talking to Dawn, she was saying that when McFadden travelled, he said he wasn't a very good sailor. He was quite sick on the journey. How were you? How was?
No seasickness.
No sickness.
No.
Okay. And how long did it take to, you know, in those days, to get from Kingston to? Well, did you go directly, or did you go? No.
Oh no, it's not a. No, I didn't come directly. Gosh.
No, of course not.
We went in a boat called the SS Cuba from Kingston. No, from Kingston, because we were based in Port Royal, and they wake us, you know, all these things. We just knew that we were going because you know, to pack and get ready, but they didn't say what was going to happen. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, we had to march about from the base to the harbour, about a mile and a half with packs and everything, and we got into some little boats which took us across to Kingston Harbour, where this ship was waiting. It says Cuba, they call it, and that's when we. Well, it was wartime, you see, and they do things at 2 o'clock in the morning, when the society is still asleep, you know.
So Kingston to where did you sail to?
Where we sailed to America.
Okay. And America.
And then we got to a place called in Florida, called Newport News, big place. And the first thing they did was we had to strip, and they kind of fumigate us. Yeah, I always remember that. We were fumigated. And then we traveled to a camp called Newport News. Camp Patrick Henry, named after the great American chap who said, "Give me liberty or death." Okay. And that's the first time I know anything about color prejudice, because the Americans had one camp for the whites and one for the black, and we became white. We never visited that camp. It was out of bounds to us. We stayed with the American white forces in the white part of the camp. And we were supposed to stay in camp, but we got out anyway to Newport News, which was 13 miles away. So this was we got out.
Of course you did. Of course you did. You know, you're 19 and a half years old. Yeah, or 19 and a half years young.
Yeah, oh, yes.
You got out. Yeah. And then the next day, or you soon you sailed.
We stayed there for about a fortnight.
Okay.
And like most things that happened during the war, suddenly, when you're thinking, oh, you must be packed and ready to move in, they don't say where you're going. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, we in some transport onto a train. The train, I always remember the name of the train company, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railways. And we were traveling all night, and about to midday, we realized the grapevine. That's a funny thing in the RAF, most services like that. It's supposed to be secret, but somehow it always got out. So we realized while we were on the train, we were going to New York. And so, but we went to New York via New Jersey City, because there's a river, I forget what the name of the river, between New York and Jersey City. And we went on little boats across the river. And then we went on a ship. And that's it. And we were at sea for about a fortnight.
Okay.
We traveled we didn't go straight across the Atlantic as such. We came over, and the biggest convoy ever to cross the North Atlantic. But then we didn't know why, but it was just at the beginning of June, and that's when we invaded the continent. The real fight for Europe started then when we were at sea. And you know, we had airplanes, submarines, everything. They protect us. We were the biggest convoy ever to cross the Atlantic. And we're part of it. But one of the things that came out, and we knew, we were at the bottom of the ship. And at night, we were locked in because we were untrained. And if the ship had to go down, we would go with it. And the trained people, they had soldiers who were trained, were on top. And that's the cruelty of war, you see.
Yeah, I think that's that's a title, isn't it? The cruelty of war.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, that was the right decision. If you're going to lose, you lose the people who weren't trained. That's right.
So you get to England. Where did you arrive? Was it in Scotland? Or?
No. When we got to England, with this massive convoy, all the ships in front of us moved, and we came in Liverpool. Mind you, when we were at sea, we were supposed to be dead secret, but everybody knew that we were going to dock at Liverpool, and all the other ships moved out of the way. And because we were the only British soldiers on it, we were allowed the first ship to dock.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating, and it's right that you referred to as British soldiers. I mean, of course you're Jamaican.
Yeah, that's right.
But you answered the call, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yes. All the other ships moved out, and our ship went to dock.
Yeah. So how do you get? Because I know this. Just jumping. How do you get from? Because you talk about at the moment you weren't trained. So you're not trained.
No.
So how do you get from Liverpool to wherever you're going to get training?
Of course, there again, this is supposed to be top secret. We don't know where we're going, but everybody knew we were going to Yorkshire. we all knew we were going somewhere. They didn't say we were in Yorkshire, but we were going to Yorkshire. So we traveled, and the first thing, we had tea without sugar during the war. We had tea. And some ladies will stop somewhere and they come and give us some tea. Then we move on again, and suddenly we are off with the packs and everything and march through Filey up to the camp, which is about 1.5 miles. Because they wouldn't have, at that time, they wouldn't have the kind of transport to put us in transport. And it was just 1.5 miles, so a piece of cake to walk with our pack for 1.5 miles, no problem. Right. So we went to...
So Filey?
Yeah, Camp, it was a, what they call this shop who had... Butlins. But it was built for Butlins camp, but it was taken over by the RAF.
Okay.
So that's where we went.
Fascinating. So at Filey, at Filey, would you have got your uniform and?
Oh no, we had.
You had that up before?
We had uniform. We had we came. When we left America,
okay,
we were given European climate uniforms instead of just khaki, which we had. We were given proper RAF uniforms. These kind of things that airman in England would be wearing.
Of course.
So we transformed from being that to that, yeah.
So you're in Filey, you're doing your training now, and eventually you would get allocated a station. You went from Filey to.
Oh yes, we after 14 weeks, we were deemed trained, and we were deemed because there's one thing, we were on the camp for 40, about 14 2 or 3 weeks before they'd allow us out, because we had to be fit to wear the uniform in public. So we had to, and before we left camp, we had to report at the guard room, and a sergeant would go over you and say, yes, you're fit enough to wear the uniform in public.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those boys, I mean, how many were there that came over? You know, how many of you were there in Filey? Was it a lot?
Oh, yes. About at that time, I can imagine there would be about 600 or 800 of us.
Okay.
We were in, you know, oh yeah.
And in your mind, when you left Jamaica, was there a job that you were going to England to do? What job were you hoping to do in England?
Oh, you mean in the RAF?
In the RAF,
Oh, yes, I was
excuse me.
going to be a wireless operator, air gunner. That's what I joined up for. But then when they give me another interview when we got here, and I was told that the best way I can serve was to be a transport driver.
And was
A HGV. What they call, yes.
yeah.
Heavy goods vehicle.
And so you're in transport, and did you leave Filey and go somewhere else?
Oh yes, after initial training, I was sent to camp in Gloucestershire, Little Rislington. Well, because perhaps they didn't have anywhere else to put us. And it was what they call a transition camp. Pilots who have just been past the first exams as such, and on single engine aircraft was sent to this camp at Little Rislington to learn to fly twin engine aircraft. And then it was terrible. It was the worst experience I had, because there's so many people died, crashed, converting from single aircraft flying to twin aircraft. So as we spent most of our time attending funerals.
Okay.
A lot of time we spent. Because we were spared, because they had to be waiting the people who were in wheelchair, that's what they're going to. They hadn't finished their courses, so they had to put us somewhere. So it was at this camp called Little Rislington in Gloucestershire.
Okay. And then eventually they sent you to Lincolnshire.
Yes, we passed out at HGV driver and sent to Lincolnshire. And I'm supposed to go. All this, if you speak to 9 out of 10 airmen, they'll tell you the same story that I tell you. I was then now considered to be able to go about without having an escort. So I was down in Wiltshire, and I had all my pack and all that thing, and I was to get myself, no corporal to hold my hand. I had to travel from Wiltshire up to Lincolnshire, and then find myself at Coningsby in Lincolnshire. That's I had to do that. I had no corporal holding me hand. Yeah. And one of the hardest part of it was crossing from one part of London, from the Wales, with all my pack and everything, to come to the west side to get up to Lincolnshire. But the RAF training was coming from. I just got on with it, and I find myself at Boston quite correctly, and there was transport supposed to be waiting for me to take me to Coningsby. Of course, there wasn't. Okay. But I got a transport to take me to a place called East Kirkby, and I slept there for the night. Then next day I got a local train to go from East Kirkby to Coningsby. And when I got to Coningsby, they had no room for me at Coningsby, so they shifted me over to Woodhall Spa, which is the next door, and that's where I got it. That's where I stayed most of my time.
Tell us a little bit about Woodhall Spa, because Woodhall Spa's got a very sort of special place, really, in regards to the war, doesn't it? Tell us a little bit about Woodhall Spa.
Well, Woodhall Spa was a little village, and there's this camp with it had 3 squadrons. You had a 617 squadron, and you have I think another 2 squadrons of fighter planes. There, 109 Squadron. I can't remember what the other one. But there was I knew about the Dambusters, of course, you know, with the news in Jamaica and so on. But when I got to, instead of being staying at Coningsby, they shifted me over to Woodhall, which annoyed me very much, because, you know, I thought, oh yes, Coningsby was lovely place with modern buildings and sleeping. And I was sent to this camp where we lived in Nissen huts and things like that. But then it was like God sent.
So the thing about Woodhall Spa is that the 611 Squadron was based there, wasn't it? 611 Squadron?
Yeah, 617 Squadron, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Woodhall Spa, so the war, this is sort of the end of 1944?
This was 1944, yes, 1944.
Yeah. So all of a sudden now you've got your HGV license and you're driving all over the place. Yeah?
Well, no, not all over the place at the time. No, I heard the first job I got, I don't know if I tell you already, was to drive the sanitary wagon. But then a Jamaican who was there before me tell me that I want to be cheerful about it and think it's the best job I have, because it says they'll be watching you.
Sure.
Which I did. I got on with it, and immediately they say, oh, you know, you have had enough of this job. We have a job for you, which we think you'd like. You're the chauffeur to the chief armament officer.
Okay.
A big man, he's squadron leader. And
you know, they say that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working, but what do you do for socialising? Were there bars or pubs to go to? Were there dances to go to? When I spoke to Dawn,
first there's camp dances.
Camp dances?
Yes, and there was places where you could play billiards and things like that and play cards. And there was a cinema where you could go to the cinema. So there was.
What about anybody? Sorry, dances off camp?
We have camp dances.
Yeah, you didn't leave camp.
No, but there was the people who used to go to Boston to the glidodrome, but I never did.
No.
You know, I was a. Well, I think people must have thought me very staid because I participated in playing cricket because I was fairly good at cricket. But I spent most of my time in camp, and at the same time, at the back of my head, I thought I wasn't qualified for anything. You see, so, and I understand that the RAF would pay any tuition things. So I linked up with a college to do bookkeeping and accountancy, and the RAF paid to pick up all the bills. And not only that, what we call downtime, the job that I had, waiting for the squadron leader to say, take me there or take me there, I was studying bookkeeping and accountancy. So I didn't waste my time.
Great, getting paid, got your qualifications on the RAF's time.
That's right.
Good. So the war. So you saw the war out.
Hmm?
So you were in Woodall Spa.
Yeah,
and
yes, I was at Woodall Spa when the war in Europe finished.
Finished. Thank you.
But alas, the war in Asia with the Japanese was still going, and the squadron, because I was attached to 617 Squadron, the squadron was booked to go to Okinawa. So they sent me to a place in Lincolnshire called Strubby to do Japanese aircraft recognition. You see,
Yeah.
and that was real fun because what happened is you was in a kind of dome, and you sit there with thing on your ears and in front of what's supposed to be a machine gun, and this some aircraft would fly across in this dome, and you had to select to shoot a Japanese one done. Of course, we had one of your was shot down. It was very funny that, but never mind.
I thought you were going to say that you were going to go to Japan.
Oh yes, the squadron was going to Okinawa. Yeah, definitely. And I was on the training Japanese aircraft wreck when they dropped the atom bomb. So I just didn't go on like a fool at that time. I was upset about it. No, after years I realized what I wanted was a posting in the Orkneys. There's no fighting. that's where I should have, yeah. But I wasn't streetwise enough at that time to say.
Well, you were a young man, you know.
I wanted.
You wanted the action.
Oh yes,
you
I
wanted the action. You know. So eventually, war ended. You know, what does Ralph Ottey do when the war finishes?
Oh yes, well I was then. Soon they closed Woodall Spa down, and I was transferred to the original place was Coningsby. You see, and civilized there, you have hot showers, and everything, because it was a camp just built during the war, so it was all right at Coningsby. But then I had a number of different, my training, you see, because I was trained to drive a coal screen. I was trained to drive a thing called, I forget what I call it, but you use it when the on the bombing range, it's a thing between a boat and a car, and you have to be careful and so on, because with the tides, if it gets caught up with the tide, it gets full of sand and you can't get back. So you know, it was quite dodgy. Yeah. But I survived it. No problem.
And how long were you in the RAF for?
Well, I didn't really leave the RAF until 1948. But you see, because I did my studies in bookkeeping and accountancy, the RAF encouraged everyone to apply for further training, you see, in civil life. So I applied for a scholarship in going to a college to do bookkeeping and accounts, and I got that. So I wasn't demobbed. I was released. That's okay. I was released from the RAF to go to college to do book accountancy. Great. Which I was 15 months, and I learned. You know, that's what I got my training in business there. Quite good college as well. It's still going strong.
And then you found employment? Hmm? You found a job then? You found employment in bookkeeping?
No? I went home. I went home to Jamaica. Because I was brought up with my grandparents. I had a picture here, and I was wanting to see them.
Right.
So I went back home. But I'd met Mavis, who were married in between in 1945.
Well, that's quite an omission there, Ralph.
Yeah.
In between leaving and coming back, you met Mavis. Where did you meet Mavis?
Mavis at the Glider Dome in Boston. That's where.
Great.